Hi, welcome back. A little bit sooner than expected, but if you watched my previous video, we talked about getting us from A to B on our spiritual journey. So it's kind of left a little bit in the air, and so I felt I should come back and do a little bit more on that transition of getting us from A to B, which is from our current situation in our life, or wherever that may be, to our true and proper path. So getting us from this point to this point, and what can we expect during that time? So I'm going to give you a few examples. Well, mainly my example, because I'm going to tell you a little bit about what happened to me. I'm not saying it's going to happen with you. Everyone's path and journey is different. You may already be on your true path. And if that's the case, then that's brilliant, that's great. But there's a lot of people that aren't yet. So they need to know what to expect, or what might to expect, like what might happen, what might not happen. And as I say, it's different for everyone. And everyone's transition is different because your journey is different. We have different experiences, different life experiences, because we have different life lessons to learn. We have different situations. So we have different ways of looking at things and analysing things. So everyone's path is different, and but I'll tell you a little bit about what can happen. What can happen and what we can expect, or may not expect, when we are transitioning from that A to B. How do we get from the current situation we're in now to our true path? Right? Because that's what you're looking for, if that's why you're here. And if you are here watching this video, then I gather that is what you want to know. So, like I say, for everyone it's going to be different. But if you are in a situation, if you're in a relationship, if you're in a job, and you know it's hard work, you know it's time to move on, but you haven't done that. If you're hanging it out for whatever reason that might be, it might be because of obligations, responsibilities, family, that kind of thing, finances, whatever. You might be hanging on to it because you think that's where you should be, right? Because if you're in a job, it's earning good money, but you hate it and you can't stand it. It's making you miserable. It's making you not want to get out of bed in the morning. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. The kind of situation that is no longer serving you. It might be serving you financially, but it's not serving you internally. It's not making you happy. Right? And you know this, but you are hanging on. Or if you're in a relationship where you know it's not working, and you try and mold it, you try and fix it, and you try and, might even go to relate counselling, try and fix it and keep trying and trying, but then it's still not working at the end of the day, but you're hanging on, and you're just hanging on to that thread of hope. If it's time to move on, it's time to move on. And if you don't do that, what can happen is the universe will step in at some point, literally pick you up from here and put you over here and say, this is where you need to be. Now that can happen in any manner of ways. So we will get this. The tower moment, the dreaded tower, the big change, We will get the rug ripped out from under our feet. The world, our personal world will turn on its head. And the universe doesn't care about that. So long as you're in the place you need to be. So long as you are on your true path, universe doesn't care about our little lives, because our little lives are not the most important thing here. So it doesn't matter what's going on in our personal lives. The universe will create this tower moment. Because in comparison to the bigger plan, the bigger picture, the whole thing, the universal thing, in comparison to that, what's going on in our physical little lives is very insignificant in comparison. Okay? So I'm not saying your guides and your angels don't care about you, because they do. They've been with you since the day you were born. You just don't know it. And they can't intervene really until you invite them in, or until you start opening up to them. And then they will help guide you to your true path on a more gentler journey, on a much smoother path. Okay, but if you don't, this is what's going to happen. I'm not here to sugarcoat things for you. I'm going to tell you as it is and how it can be. Because the transition from A to B is not an easy one. It really is not. It's far from easy. A lot of you may have already gone through that, where you've had to leave family members behind. You've had to walk away from situations, families, jobs, homes, areas. You've had to leave a lot behind. A lot of you have already done that, gone through that. And they will know. You will know. If you have, then you know that that transition is the hardest, one of the hardest transitions and experiences you're ever going to have in your life. So the bigger plan and the bigger picture. So what happened with me in 2015, let me just cover that and get that out of the way. So 2015, I was living my life. I was down in London, living my life with my long-term partner, who I'd been with for 22 years. We had 2 sons. My mother had cancer. I was caring for her. My dad had dementia. He was in a home. And in the April 2015, my whole world turned upside down. So for about 5 years on the run up to that, say 2010, I wanted to move. Okay, so the little signs were around me. I just wasn't seeing them. We lived near a very busy road. It was relentless. The noise, the traffic, the sirens, emergency services, motorbikes, lorries, you get the picture. It was relentless. And I couldn't find 1 minute's peace. When we first moved into the house, 16 years prior to that, we didn't mind it. I didn't mind it. We were younger. It really didn't bother me at all, the noise. But as time went on, and about 5 years up to, so around 2010, the noise started getting to me. I just wanted to sit in the garden and have a quiet moment with a cup of coffee. You know, it wasn't too much to ask, but this noise, I couldn't get a moment. I couldn't hear the birds. I couldn't hear the breeze, the wind. I couldn't hear any of that. And I was really frustrated. Really frustrated. So I was talking it over with my partner, and he's a Taurus, I'm a Taurus. But he was very attached to his job, his work. And this is just a very extreme example is what I'm giving you here. I'm not saying this is going to happen to you, because hopefully it will be an easier transition. But I've always kind of had an idea that this is what I'm meant to be doing here, like telling you about this, because they're kind of using me as an example here. So my partner was very healthy, very fit, non-smoker, never sat down, actually was always on the go, loved to fix cars. And we were having lunch in the garden. It was a beautiful April morning, early lunch, because his friend was coming around and he was going to fix his car outside. That's what he did. He loved to fix cars. So I could hear him out there, and no warning, no sign of anything wrong or anything. And he collapsed in the middle of the road, and he passed away, died on the way to hospital. So within an hour of having lunch with him in the garden, it'd gone. Just like that. And I was still caring for my mum because she had cancer, and her end was kind of coming close, and I knew that. And inevitably my dad wasn't going to last that long with his dementia, because he kept getting pneumonia. And so my world was tipped upside down. No warning. He was 46 years old. It was 2 weeks before his 47th birthday. And so I had very little choice, but I had to sell the house. So even though I wanted to move, to the run up to that, I wanted some peace, right? And every time the moon would come out, the full moon, I would say, please, let us move. If there's an opportunity here for us to move, let us move. But in my mind, I'm thinking, we're all going to move together. Wasn't going to happen that way. So, anyway, he died, and there was no warning. Nothing. So 5 months later, I had the house on the market, had it up for sale. My mum went in the hospital. She died in September the same year. And I moved 163 miles from south to north of England to be near other family members. My dad passed away the following March. So within less than a year, you could see that huge change that had happened. How unfair was that? I didn't understand it. It's like, why am I being punished? I thought it was some kind of punishment. He was perfectly fit. There was nothing medically wrong with him. He never went to the doctors in his life. I mean, it was expected with my parents, but, with my partner, it just wasn't. So to get me here, where I am today, this is the transition that had to happen, because my partner was very attached to his job. He would not have moved here. He would not have moved out of the area of where we were. I was like, well, you didn't have to take him. There were other ways that we could have done that, but it wasn't like that. But that's the way I was seeing it at the time. This tower moment came into my life, ripped my world upside down, tore my guts out, basically, to get me where I am today. And it's taken 10 years for me to work it all out. Not literally 10 years, but it's been on that journey of the past 10 years of working out why that had to happen. So no matter what's happening in your life, you may see it as like a personal attack. What have I done wrong? I'm being punished for something because I'm heartbroken. We've split up. Like you and your boyfriend or you and your girlfriend, we're heartbroken. Like we're splitting up because this isn't working. I'm trying to make it work, but it just won't work. The universe don't care about that, because at the end of the day, this was all pre-planned. Your life was pre-planned, and you agreed to go through these life changes and these lessons before you came here. So the universe doesn't really, and they're also like, well, you'll be okay, because we know what's happening. And if you connect to your guides or the universe, whatever you want to call it, your higher self will show you what's ahead for you, because it's called your higher self because it has a broader perspective of what's in front of you. It's up there, you know, it's not down here where we can't see, you know, we can only see down the end of the road, but your higher self is up there. It can see what's far ahead in your future and can give you insights to that. And by doing that, we'll reassure you that you're going to be fine. You're just going to be fine. But right now, whatever's happening in your life, in comparison to why this is all happening, the evolutionary period, why now? Why is it happening? One, it's because we're ready. We're in an age where this was pre-planned some decades ago, and generations are being born so that we can all awaken. And we've all had this already pre-planned. You know, we all agreed to come here and awaken at a certain time in our life and carry out whatever it is that we came here to do. So some of you on that journey, you will be helping the planet, conservation work. You will be helping the wildlife. You will be helping humanity. You will be sharing your love and spreading your light around to help heal the planet. Because that's the main focus here. That's the main problem, is the planet. Humanity and civilization, I would say, comes second. Maybe, if we're lucky. But the main focus here, and the reason why this is all happening, is because of the planet, the safeguarding of the planet in the future, the longevity of the planet. Because it's been stripped and stripped and stripped and stripped of so many resources. So everything on the planet is energy. We are energy. The plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, we are all energy. And the people and the living things on the planet are the driving force behind the planet. So when I said to you what's happening in your life, the universe don't care about that. Okay, because one, it's already been pre-planned and you already agreed to do this. Whether you remember that or not, doesn't matter. The universe knows that you're going to be in a place later on, even if you don't think that right now. The universe and your guides know that you're going to be in a place, a better place in your life later on. So what's happening to you now, it's not important. So second thing is, you know, if the planet, and the planet is a living structure. The planet is a living structure. It's not just a place where we reside and a place where things live. It is living. It's actual living planet. And it too goes through cycles, as we know. And it too goes through energy shifts. So when I say we are the driving force behind the planet, we are like the motor in a car. Energy bounces off of energy. Energy bounces off of things. We are like a motor in a car. And the planet is like the engine in a car. If we, as a collective energy, Some of us are in a higher vibration. Some of us are in a low vibration. Some of us are kind of mid. This is causing fluctuations in the energy. It's not all resonating together. Okay? It's out of sync. We're out of sync. The animals in captivity, you know, the ones that are being used for entertainment, their energies are going to be low. The ones that are used for medicine purposes in countries, they're in these tiny little cages, their energies are going to be really low. So the reason why we need to get from A to B is so that we will be in a happier place in our life, which will raise our vibration. This raises our vibration. It's so important. It's vital that we do this, because this is what the planet is surviving on, is our vibrational energy frequency. And at the moment, because we're all uneven and not resonating together as a whole energy. So if the motor gets sticky, or there's something wrong with the motor in a car engine, the engine won't run properly. And this is what's happening with the planet. And if this continues on, what's going to happen is we're going to see more turbulent weather across the world. And eventually the planet will become unstable. And because energy bounces off of energy, this will cause ripples out into the universe. So it's not just about this planet. It's not just about the longevity of the planet we live on. It's about the whole universe. The rippling effects of what this is going to cause later on. So when I say to you, the universe doesn't care what's happening in your life, you've got a broken heart, that's tough. If you've got money troubles, that's tough. What they care about is that they get you from this point to this point, so that you can start raising your vibration by living your life the way it was meant to live, the way you were meant to live it, the path you're meant to be on. Where you will be happier and more peaceful, which will naturally raise your vibration to a level which will be resonating with everyone else. Eventually, we will all be, not all, but the majority will be raising their vibration. So this is why I needed to come back and tell you this, because I can't just leave it in the air. It's like I went and sat down, had a cup of tea, but I could feel this, like my guides are saying to me, you can't just leave it there. You've got more to say. You know, there you go. I was like, okay, so I'm back, you know, and I'm telling you this because if you leave your situation alone and you're stubborn, or you think you can make this work, but it isn't working, you know this isn't working. It's time for you to move on, but you're not doing that. Then expect this tower. Because the energy that we're putting out into this planet is really important. It's not just about us being happy, but it's about raising our vibration and living our true purpose, which is going to make us happier. Finding our purpose in life is going to make us happier, raise our vibration, and things will be leveling out. I mean, this isn't going to happen anytime soon. This is going to take probably decades and decades to complete. But we can see, when we look at the bigger picture, we can see why what's going in our physical lives isn't necessarily that important. You know, when we look at what's really going on here. Okay? And it isn't an easy journey. I'm going to tell you that right now. There have been times, several times, more than several times, I have wanted to walk away from this journey. Threw my hands up, pulling my hair out. I'm done. Because at times I felt like, well, it don't matter. You know, it doesn't matter what's happening in my life, so long as you get what you want. And that's the mindset I was in 10 years ago. Even 11 and 12 years ago, that's the mindset I was in. Feeling like a puppet. Well, we're not really in control of our life because it's already been planned out. So it doesn't matter what you want to happen in a relationship, or whether you want it to go onto like a marriage thing. If that person's not meant for you and it's not meant to be that way, then you can expect the tower. The universe will intervene, and that will be however that's going to be. That will be ruthless. It will be painful. So that's just how it works. I mean, you can't expect, you know, oh, you know, you hear stories of people's spiritual transitions. Oh, I'm living my perfect life. I'm on my spiritual journey. I'm on my true path. Everything's rosy. Everything's good. Everything's happy. No, it's not. It doesn't work like that. We become happier when we're on our true path, and we trust in the future more because we know that these things were already pre-planned. We know that we agreed to it. We get insights as to what's coming. We can be prepared for that. You know you're going to be happy. You trust the universe. You trust the process. You trust what your higher self is showing you and telling you. But it's not easy. It's not rosy, and it's not fluffy and cloudy, you know, like feathers and glitter and stuff like that. It's not like that at all. It can be very, very harsh. And let me tell you something else, that once you are on that journey, there is no going back. There is no going back. And all you have to do is keep going forward. And it will be confusing, and it will be painful, and it will be life-changing. It will be very emotional. You know, we have to physically walk away from things. We have to emotionally walk away from things and leave things behind. And I've had people come to me where they've had to walk away from family members where they're toxic. And it breaks their heart. Of course it does. But it's a necessity that needs to be done. And if you don't do it willingly, and you know it's time to move on, and you don't do it, and you wait, then there's no telling of how that's going to happen, that transition. The universe will do its magic, and you will no longer be in this situation over here. You will be somewhere over here where you're meant to be on that path, doing what you came here to do. And what you came here to do is going to be contributing to the bigger picture, the bigger plan. You know, some of you are already doing that. And I know that because a lot of you are on my Facebook. You know, so we are here to help humanity. We're here to help the planet, the future. We're here to spread love and light, okay? Because love and light and peace is what this planet needs to heal. It is a planet that's gone through a lot of destruction. We know who's to blame for that. right? Through greed, things like that. So, but there is something much bigger at stake here than just this planet alone and our little lives. There is the whole of the universe, and the universe is infinite. Okay? So it's like not only our solar system at risk here, other solar systems, other planetary solar systems and universes out there are also going to get that rippling effect when this planet starts to become unstable like this. It's going to send out the ripples. There is something much, much bigger at stake. And we can then understand and put that into perspective of why things happen in our life that are so drastic. Especially when you're on a spiritual journey and you know you've been through a lot, right, to get to where you are. And you know what that's like, for those of you who have been through it. It's like, God, why did I have to go through that? It was necessary. So, I thought I would bring that to you. You can chew on that for a while. And, yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want to book a private reading with me, I will get your angel messages and write them out for you, and deliver them to your email. The price for the reading is in the description box below. And if there are any messages from past loved ones that also want to include messages in that reading, I will also include that as well, all included in the price. Okay, so you can reach me at the email address below. If you got something out of this this video, then please give it a like, share, and consider subscribing. It will really help my channel. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.